Hi, everyone, and thank you for being on the channel today. We have the amazing Manny from the Goat Worthy channel. Is that because you have multiple channels now, don't you? But that's the first one, right?
Yes, yes. I have two channels. There's Goat Worthy and then there's Goat Herd.
Okay, and what is the difference between both?
So Goat Worthy pretty much started off just me covering artists that I'm already familiar with.
Okay,
Uh, them being goats. For people who don't know, GOAT just stands for greatest of all time.
yeah,
For most people in the music industry, that's what it stands for. So that's what I was doing. I was covering the greats, and a lot of the fans would recommend who they felt was a GOAT, and then I would review the music and I would give my opinion whether I felt they were GOAT worthy or not.
okay,
Um, so that's GOAT worthy, So like a lot of the guys I covered, like Eminem, Ren, and Harry Mack, all the people who are just exponentially great at what they do,
yeah,
you know. And then Goat Herd is what I just started like a month ago.
yeah,
It's pretty much like a double play on the word herd, like herding sheep, herding goat, and stuff like that, but also like hearing. So I'm trying to listen out for a goat. So I'm
yeah.
kind of scanning them on Goat Herd, and if I really like them, I'll bring their catalog to Goatworthy, and then we'll cover them over there. So
Okay,
I get to have fun on Goat Herd because I get to hear music that I typically won't hear because I just
yeah.
won't put anything on Goatworthy. I only put like that exceptional talent on Goatworthy. So Goat Herd allows me the opportunity to just have more fun, listen to new artists, people who are just goats on the rise, pretty much.
What are your musical interests or your musical background? Like, what are the first artists you followed when you were younger, and what is a little bit of your
The
backstory?
very first would have to be this guy right here.
Slim Shady LP?
Slim Shady EP to be exact. But
EP, yeah.
yeah, Slim Shady.
EP,
Yeah, so
yeah,
the EP was the track, the 7 to 8 track that came out before the actual album.
yeah,
That's like before him and Dr. Dre.
yeah,
It's what really got him with Dr. Dre. So I would say the beginning was him. That's not the real beginning. That's just the beginning of me learning how to, because I write music as well and I record music as
mm-hmm,
well. So that was the beginning of my writing. The beginning was Tupac, people like that, Chuck D, Public Enemy. Those are like the very first when I was young, in the single digits, 8, 9 years old, like trying to look like Tupac. Like, yeah, that was that was the beginning. Yeah, I got into my career and now I'm good. I got a nice career. And now it's weird because now I'm back to music. But now I'm not recording like I used to, but now I'm reacting.
yeah.
So it's like I'm back with hip hop in unison again.
But you're still recording some stuff because I saw that you did a
Yes.
few retakes and you're still
hmm
writing a little bit.
So that's the beautiful thing about what Ren does is that Eminem made me write, taught me how to write. Listening to him, I learned how to write. Um, when I gave up hip hop and music for years, you know what I'm saying? I gave it up for like 6, 7 years. I was just not interested. I was developing myself. I
Mm-hmm,
gave my life to Christ as well. That had something to do with it. So
mm-hmm.
I stopped listening to things that I felt weren't, good for me.
Okay,
And then when I fell into Ren, he did something that I haven't felt in a while. He inspired me to write again.
yeah,
So the Ren retakes are just me recreating his songs and with my own perspective. So I get to pay homage to him, pay
yeah,
him respect,
yeah,
and give him thanks, right? Thanks for the subscribers that come follow me, they just want to see me break down his music, right?
yeah.
So thanks to that. And then also thanks for helping me to get back into the studio. Because I never thought I'd get back in the studio ever.
I think what you're saying is very true for so many people in the Reniverse
Right.
who are really yeah, who have where his impact is so great that they are moved to do stuff.
Right. I agree. And I saw some of what you guys are covering with Ricochet, and I agree with a lot what he was saying.
Yeah.
I guess me and Ricochet have a lot in common when it comes to that, or just maybe just there's a lot of similarities in the cultural influence that we
Hmm.
share,
Yeah.
and just how we came up and stuff like that. So yeah, Ren is just he just has an effect. I think what he does best more than anything is just he creates perspective for those who are locked in a one track mind.
Hmm.
So if you're going through similar things he's going through, you just may be looking for validation to feel more sad.
Hmm.
Sometimes people just want to feel okay that they're sad and they want to know
Hmm.
that it's okay. And Ren does that, but then he also spins it and shows you why you don't have to be sad.
Yep.
He just gives you another perspective for you to not feel, for you not to beat yourself up. Because I mean, a lot of people are suffering with these different types of illnesses, and they connect with him through that. But at the same time, you don't have to be sad. That's the beauty part. So
Yeah.
it's like it's okay to be, but
Yep.
then there's another perspective that he offers, and I just think that he does that exceptionally well. Like he just
Oh
does
yeah.
that so.
The spin on things is just, and to see him take something that is really a negative in his life and that is really, really
Mhm,
hard, and to spin it into a beautiful song, and then to
mhm,
make that an inspiration for others, shows how we can find purpose in difficult parts of ourselves, or of our lives. And I think
mhm,
when you, in general, if you uh, can have enough retrospect to think about things that happened to you, or things you went through, or things that made you suffer, and see how you can grow from that and what you can make of it, and how you can turn it
mhm.
into a positive and into a learning. Because I think as we grow and as we mature, we're always learning, and difficult parts of our life
Absolutely.
are that. If you live through something that is really hard, you have to learn from it in order to grow.
Mhm.
And I think that's what
Yeah.
he's showing a lot of people too.
Oh
But
yeah, he's teaching how do you go how to live, because you can go through it because you have to. It's the
yeah,
inevitable.
yeah,
But he teaches people how to grow through it. He
yeah,
teaches people how to actually live through it, as in, take the good with the bad, and then also just double down on what you have to appreciate in this world. And I don't know how he does it, but he does all of that while at the same time trying to just like, so I look at it like this. There's good men and then there's righteous men. A
mhm,
good man, I would say, would do anything he has to do to protect his family. He would sacrifice himself for his family, he would sacrifice for his daughter, his wife, and all that, right? But a righteous man would sacrifice himself for his family, your family, his neighbor's family, everybody on the block. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
That man is a righteous man. He's gonna do the right thing, not the good thing. He's
yeah,
gonna do the
yeah,
right thing. And the
yeah,
right thing would be to help all. I just feel like that's always Ren's message. It's a worldly message. Such a worldly message that
mhm,
expands beyond himself. And when you listen to his music, it's almost like it's not even for him anymore. It's
mhm,
like it's almost like, yeah, these are my growing pains, but this is how this can affect you,
mhm,
how you should be able to give yourself the chance to look at things differently.
mhm,
I think that his main juicer is just the care. You know what I'm saying? Everything's very like he's just very caring. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
It's beyond kindness. Kindness is like just being nice.
mhm,
He's like helpful. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like he's trying to help. He's trying to reach people. He's trying to touch people. He's trying to, I say like when I say he provides more perspectives, I just think that's the most important thing you can do, because whenever you come across anybody you just know for the first time, you better make sure you know how to put their shoes on before you go judging somebody,
oh
or you know what I'm saying, because you have to have a different perspective.
yeah,
That's the best way of understanding. And I think he's trying to build a bridge, and it's just we're just in a weird time right now. I
yeah,
just feel like we're in a wicked time and things are
yeah.
just getting ugly out here.
Yeah, so
So,
tell me, I'm interested. Tell me a little bit about your journey, like how and why and how that came that you started this channel, and then
yeah.
how it came to Ren, because you told me that it was your following that told you to go and check out Ren. But tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about your journey on YouTube and how that all started.
So the beginning of YouTube pretty much so it goes back to me giving up music, recording music.
Hmm.
That's where it starts. And then one day a buddy of mine was just like, I didn't know about reaction channels. He's like, you should just do one of those reaction channels. He's like, because you're always explaining to me, or my wife would be like, you're always explaining these lyrics to me. Like, I don't know what he means, but I'm just like, my buddy was just like, you started other reaction. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Like, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I never lived on YouTube just watching YouTube videos. That
Yeah.
was never my thing. So I was not even aware of reaction thing. And then it was fun. I was just doing Eminem and other big rappers that I
Yeah.
like. And then I was like, I'm gonna start branching off, maybe start doing some like, rock or whatever. I'm gonna start doing some stuff.
Mhm.
So, anyways, when it came to Ren, this is where Ren plays a key role, because when I started reacting to him, it became a thing of like inspiration now. It's like, oh, hold on. The thing is, I grew up on Eminem. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not really gonna re-inspire me to write. He already kicked it off for me in my
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
my early years. So Ren was something brand new, and I'm an adult now. I didn't experience Eminem as an adult. You
Yeah.
saying it, so it wasn't as shocking. It was just normal. I grew up with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So Ren is an adult. I'm an adult, and Ren is I'm experiencing him in real time as a mature adult who has some type of intellect and experience in life that I've things that I've gone through.
Yeah.
So that is where all the inspiration came from. So now he inspired me to just get back in the studio, and it's like God just he gave it back to me, you know. I gave it up for him, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
gave it up. I was like, I wasn't talking nothing crazy, but I also wasn't glorifying his name and nothing like that. So I gave it up. And now that I'm back, you know, he gave me my first love back. You know what I'm saying? He gave it back to me. God was like, all right, now you're ready. You know, he said, now you're ready.
Yeah.
Now you can make the music that you know you should be making. And now I make music again, but I make sure I glorify his name. Like now it's like I make my testimonial music is what I call it, right? People call it Christian rap, stuff like that. I don't call it stuff like that because that's a turn off to certain people. And it's not really what I'm talking about. I'm just
Mhm.
talking about my life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My life, my testimony. So
But now that you've gone through more of his songs, and that you know more about him, and that you can relate in different ways now after 6 or 7 months, what would
mhm.
today be the song where you think this really moved me, or I could really relate to this? Is it still Troubles, or is it something?
It's probably still Troubles. Troubles is still up there. It's just that he has certain songs for different reasons. But I would still have to say it's still Troubles, Genesis, and Seven Sins. Those are still at the top of my list.
It's quite rare that you stick to this one artist where you think, every song that you hear, you're just like, oh, that's really interesting. That's something different. That's that I love the lyrics, or I love the beat, or I love the rapping. And it's because he encompasses all of the genres. So, I mean, you can
Mhm.
listen to something from him where he's a little bit more on the rap side, and then on the rock side, and on the punk side. I mean, he has all of these. He's like an elastic band, you can just,
Mhm.
pull him in whichever musical direction. It's so
And
interesting.
he
And
will flourish.
I
And
think
he
that's
will
why
flourish.
people just stick to him, because like every song we hear, we're like, oh, something different again, and that's
Yeah.
interesting too. And
It's
it's
like listening
never
to a new artist every time.
yeah, yeah. It's like so many different people in one. And I think that's the interesting thing, because I've listened to so many people throughout my life, and so many bands, and I've adored some bands. But I mean, it's like Metallica, the last album they put out. The second you switch on the album, you know it's them, because it's like they have, and well, that is also like the idea with Ren. I mean, when he opens his mouth, whatever he does, it's him, because he has this tonality. But I
Mhm.
mean, it's like you take any of the last three Metallica albums, they somewhat sound the same.
Right.
There are songs that I love on there and that
It's
I
their
listen
sound.
to,
It's their
but
sound, and
it
some
it
people
it
brand oh, you just said something so some people brand off their sound, and you know it when you see them,
yeah,
and Ren has literally made a brand of being different every single time.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
I don't
that
know 2 songs that sound the same. Imma be honest with you.
yeah.
I can't think of 2 Ren songs. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there, whatever, that sound similar. I haven't gone through enough of his catalog, but I'm 40 songs in, and I can't say this song sounds like this song. Obviously, to a lot of people in the UK or Wales or whatever, he doesn't have a real accent because they're used to it. But
Yeah,
in
no.
a lot of the world, outside of the world, he has a strong accent, especially in the States. And it's like people love it. A year ago, I wouldn't have been able to understand a thing Ren was saying, maybe
Mm,
some of it.
mm,
But some of it would have been like really like, wait, what did he just say? Let me rewind it. Listening to him so much, it's like I understand people from the UK or Wales or whatever the case may be. I just understand, or even Australia. I just understand them much more clear. Like I just hear every syllable they're saying. I don't have an issue, but I used to have an issue with that. Like I don't understand nobody from London. I
well,
don't know
like
what
the
he's
guys
saying.
from TDIP, I love them so much. They are so
Yeah,
I just adore them. Like anytime I need a little bit of a positive boost in my day, I just put the TDIP on because I just
and
love.
they're always live.
And they're so great, and they have a very different accent to Ren. They don't have the same accent at all, because they have
Yeah,
like a
because they're
British
Jamaican and they have
accent.
Yeah, they
So
have the British, Jamaicans,
yeah,
patois, like, they have a lot going on over there, and that's the beauty. That's kinda like what you were saying, you were raised, German and English,
yeah,
and you grew up born in Germany, Switzerland, you're in France now, so you're kinda just like them because, they have, whether they have, parents from the island, from, from Jamaica or whatever, and then but they live in London. It's amazing how, like, all that just comes together. I do think like even here in the States, like let's say you have somebody in Texas, right, which is like a state in the United States, southern area, right? You have these guys could be neighbors. I mean, both of these men could have lived in this on this block their entire lives, and they will not. You take one black dude, right, who lives on this block, right, and a white dude's his neighbor. They're both from Texas. They've been neighbors for their entire lives. They will not sound alike at all.
mm,
It's crazy. It's like
mm,
they
mm.
don't they use the same slang and stuff like that because that's the
Yeah,
South, stuff but their tone will not be the same. It's just amazing. It's just like, wow, that's because of their family and their lineage and who they
yeah,
were
the
raised with.
culture. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, sure.
yeah, it supersedes where you were born. It's the people that you were raised with supersedes the place you grew up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's amazing. But yeah, I just find it so like them and Ren, they're not gonna sound like alike.
Oh,
You
no,
know
no,
what I'm saying?
no, no. They're absolutely it's completely different. It's like, well, I mean, the basics are the same, but like certain
Hmm.
words they say, you hear something completely different. The sound is completely different. So, and they're not from the same place either. I mean, Wales is just like another country in
Yeah, yeah.
so
So I have a funny story about that. So I have a friend of mine. We were like 18 years old. This is a long time ago. So I have a friend of mine. We was at Walmart, and there was this dude from London that was outside of the store. This is so my friend is so ignorant. So he goes, he's like, dang. And I go, man, what's that? I just asked him, man, what's that accent from? He's like, you have a cool accent. And he said, oh, I'm from London. Like he just said, oh, he's from London. I was like, oh, that's what's up. And then my friend goes, oh, he said, "Yeah, I got some family, by London." He's lying though. I'm looking at my boy like, "What is he doing right now?" So he said, "Really?" The guy goes like, "Where by?" He was like, Wales." He was like, "Wales?" He said, "Wales is nowhere near London." I was like, yo, the dude just starts cracking up. He's like, "You are so full of it." Like he's just going at my boy,
oh
and my boy
yeah.
starts cracking. Luckily, that guy was a good sport. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get too offended about it. But he was just like, it was so funny because my boy was trying to put on the accent and everything. It was like hilarious. He said, "Oh yeah,
That is
I grew
so
up,
good.
I grew up with my family by London." He's like, "Yeah, really? Where? What part?" He's like, Wales."
Oh, but that no, but that is so funny. That is as if someone would say, "Yeah,
Oh
family
my
in New
god.
York." Oh yeah, whereabouts? Well, Nebraska. I mean, that's exactly this.
That is. It's the same thing. It's from the tree miles and miles away.
Oh, that is so funny.
Oh, man, it was so funny. It was
Oh
so
yeah.
hilarious. Sometimes I tell that story whenever I meet somebody from the UK or something like that. Like, they just crack up. They just die laughing every time.
Oh yeah,
Because, like, my
yeah. That
boy
is
is
so
so
good.
funny, man.
But that is just, I mean, that's the willingness to connect, right? You just want to feel
Yeah.
connected to the
He just
person,
wanted
so you're ready to.
really, that's really all he wanted to do. He wanted to
Yeah.
connect to that man. He just wanted to feel like he knew him.
So where are you from? From Brooklyn then?
I'm from New York. I'm from Long Island, New York. So it's like
Oh,
Brooklyn is on Long Island. So there's Queens and Brooklyn that's on
yeah,
Long Island. And then out you cross the bridge, now you're in Manhattan, the
yeah,
city.
yeah.
That's kind of like where I grew up as far as working. Most of my work was in Manhattan. So
Okay.
a lot of commuting to the city and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I'm from Long Island, New York. My parents are from the Dominican Republic. So
Okay.
my mom's always been here, but I split up me and my family, long story short, me and my family and my father, we split up when I was 2, as in we lost connection because
Yep.
you think about this, like in the 80s, it's so easy to lose connection with people. There's no phones,
Yeah. No internet.
there's no internet. Like it's just like you lose somebody, you're
Yeah.
done. Like, you
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You better know somebody who's seen them last.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really how it is. So our upbringing here was yeah, we grew up in below the poverty line of what the US
Mm,
is considered.
mm.
So, everything was government assistance. We have something called welfare, WIC program, Section 8, whole bunch of um, coupons, everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything you could think of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we lived, right? I mean, we lived good. I was happy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what was going on. I was the youngest of 2 older brothers. My 2 brothers got into certain things, started living a certain lifestyle. One was in gangs, the other one was a drug dealer, and they were
Yeah.
both in and out of prison. And that was my influence. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The sh My friends in the streets and my 2 brothers who live with me were the strongest influence I've had, right?
Mhm.
Something happened. Well, around the time I turned 12, both my brothers were in prison at the time. Around the time I turned 12, I realized I got into trouble. I got into this fight. Instead of the cop bringing me to the precinct and getting me into a whole bunch of trouble, he brought me to my house. He said, "Where do you live?" And I told him where I lived, and he brought me over there
Mhm.
and brought me to my mom or whatever. Anyways, when he left, I told my mom I have godparents who like were really close to us because their son is my best friend.
Mhm.
So my best friend comes from a very strict home, right? And I always stay over there, sleep over there, and stuff like that. My godfather came over one time and said, um, he can't live here anymore. You know,
Mhm.
like he can't live here anymore. Like something has to change, or he's gonna end up like his brothers. So from that point on, I grew up with my best friend and his parents, pretty much. Um, yeah, so I was adopted by them, and it was just a different culture because they were like Mexican and El Salvadorian, so it was just different, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I've known them my whole life, um, so it was tough in that sense. And then I was still in the streets, I was still doing what I wanted to do and stuff
Mhm.
like that, getting into trouble and stuff like that. And but there was also like I had a curfew. There was also somebody I had to answer to now,
Yeah.
a man who I had to answer to, something I wasn't used to because
Yeah.
I never had a father in my life.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting change. So it was hard for me to adjust because I was so used to being independent and doing whatever I wanted to now getting in trouble about things. I'm like, what do you mean getting in trouble? Like I'm not doing something, it was just weird. Like my mother never disciplined me really. My mother was like I'll tell people all the time, she wasn't exactly a parent. She was just a nurturing mother. Like
Yeah.
you had a roof, she fed you,
Yeah.
you had clothes, you were good. But she wasn't gonna be like, do your homework when you get home. She wasn't gonna be like, if I didn't feel like going to school that day, I'm like, I don't feel like going. She'd just be like, whatever, it's on you.
Okay.
So that was the kind of lifestyle because that's the lifestyle she lived when she was young. She
Yeah.
didn't really have that parenting either. Sometimes I'm shocked that I even got through because there's a picture of I'll tell you this quick thing. There's a picture. This will really paint you like just the environment I came from, right? There's a picture of my mom, her two best friends, and another lady who lived on the block. Four women, right? And there's 13 kids in the picture. It includes me and my two brothers, right? We're in it, and there's other kids who are in the picture. Kids are from like our friends growing up in the neighborhood. So there's 13 kids, right? My mother has this picture framed. It's like a beautiful picture. It's a little creepy to look at sometimes when you look at it today. But in those pictures, the only kids alive in those pictures today are my mother's sons, me and my two brothers.
Mhm.
Everybody in that picture were all murdered
Yeah.
at one point, and
Yeah.
one of them died from brain cancer, and one of them overdosed. But the other 11 were all murdered in cold blood, like just growing up in the streets or whatever. But
Yeah.
and my brother's been shot. You know what I'm saying? My other brother's been stabbed. Like I've been stabbed as well, and we've all gone through certain things. Both my brothers been to prison. I've never been to prison, right? Um, it's just we just made it.
Yeah.
We we just got out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We just made it by the skin of our teeth. We just made it out. And my mother looks at that picture like, thank God. Like only her it's gotta be a chilling thing to look at. Only her sons, who she did not discipline and put strict guidelines around. So somebody was protecting us.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it's haunting at the same time. But to give it to you short, that's the environment we came up from.
But just because we were touching upon the subject of influencing or helping others with our story or what we have to say. What is the influence in your life of the renegades and that community? Because as we have said, I have
Mhm.
been interested in so many artists and bands, and I've followed a few, and I have never seen any community around an artist that is like this one. I mean, this is something different. It's
Yeah,
it's
it is.
just it's
It's
just like
amazing.
people are so invested, and they're not only invested in Ren, they're invested in everything that they stand for. So it can be like to help each other with medical issues. It can be, to support
I
people.
got
It's
stories for you. I am telling
that.
you,
So
what you're
tell
saying right
me,
now
yeah,
is
tell me
so
about that because it's
I
crazy.
could tell you something that just happened this morning.
Oh, go on.
Um, the Renegades, first of all, let me start with the Renegades are awesome, right? The community on Patreon, it's split within renegades and stans and
Yeah,
some falling in reverse fans as well.
yeah, yeah,
That's like my core following on
yeah,
Patreon. It's like half and half, maybe more stans, but the renegades are growing as well.
yeah.
And the community that I built there, I just wanted it to be a hub for those who just need to come somewhere and really talk. Like I have chats created. I just started a new chat the other day that's called Speak Your Mind and Speak Your Heart. And that's the name of the chat.
Yeah.
So I put anybody who wants to come here who needs somebody to hear them out or just wants
Mhm,
some advice or just want to just you want to get on a personal call. You guys want to trade information. You guys can come here, talk about it. We could all divulge and talk about it and help you through it, and we could all share whatever it is that's on our hearts that morning. So that's what the chat is for. That chat has been going crazy. Everybody's been in there talking. And this one girl who's going through something, I won't say her name, but she's going through, it's very cold where she's at.
mhm,
And she has these chickens and ducks, right? And uh, she's worried about them because it's gonna
mhm.
drop below 0
Yeah.
degrees over there. And one of my members, I'll say her, Ashley, she is so helpful. She went ahead and paid for the other member who bought her. She bought her some cushion stuff that
Oh,
warms the chicken and the ducks. But I'm just saying these are the types of kinds of acts that are happening
yeah,
in there. You know what I mean? And they don't know each other, but they know each other through the community, and they're both new.
yeah,
And she went ahead and ordered it for her
yeah,
online and everything, paid it for it. And then I guess they had a personal conversation because they came back to the chat and she was just like, I just want to thank Ashley. She bought
yeah.
this and that for my chickens and ducks. And she can't really, and that girl can't really afford the membership. She Ashley's donations paid for her memberships.
Wow.
So it's wild how they came together on here, right? And I'm just saying there's somebody else named Marissa. She donated for 100 members. That's how much she donated. It is a beautiful thing. I don't take it for granted at all. Trust me. It's something that I embrace every day. I bathe in it. To be
Yeah,
honest with you, like I when I get up in the morning, first thing I do is check the Patreon, just to check the message, just to see if anybody needs anything. Make
yeah.
sure everybody's good. You know what I mean?
It's also that's the beautiful thing about growing a community is that you can really start um, investing in projects that are really going to deeply, help people.
I think that's what brought me back to music as well, as far as the writing process, because Ashley, one of my newest members on Patreon, who's been donating
Yeah.
to the Patreons a lot lately and helping out. So the songs that I played, um, Ashley reached out and said, "Man, everything you were saying in there, I relate to that directly. Like I need to hear that.
Mm,
I need to hear that. That needs to be in my playlist. I need to hear that every day. I need to be motivated in that way." And I just thought like, "Oh wow, that's the first person who's ever said that to me." You know what I'm saying? So I was
yeah.
like, so now like getting back to what we were saying earlier about other things that I can do to
Hmm.
just impact. That's all I'm trying to do is impact.
Hmm.
So just the music alone, doing making my testimonial music. It could be somebody else's testimony as well. You never
Of
know.
course.
So, and that's my next thing is just putting music, and then the visuals, bringing
Yeah.
the music to life.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be shooting some videos soon, to all 3 of those songs, and we'll see where that goes. Yeah, we'll see where that
Oh,
goes.
those are great projects, though. People are going to love that.
Another thing is I'm starting my own merch.
Oh,
I've
cool.
already like on a Patreon, I've already showed them what I showed them all the merch was coming out, and they're like
Oh,
ecstatic about it. They're
great.
just like, put this out right now. I will buy one right now. I'm just like, wow. So yeah, I'm gonna be opening up the store soon, the online, so everybody be able to shop and check it out. I want to protect the integrity of the channel.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be doing just anything. But that's why people always telling me you should be at 1 million subscribers. Like they tell me this, like you should be at your content is so good, this and that. And it's like you should react to this and that. And I'm just like, the reason is I know why it's not there. It's because I'm not willing to react to just anything. And I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
I know there's some trendy things happening. I know that the Kendrick and Drake, I know it's a big thing. People, I
Yeah.
don't, but it's negativity for me and I don't need
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all it's going to do is create more negative comments. It's people
Yeah.
in the comment section saying, he sucks, or he's a pedophile, or he's this,
Yeah.
he beat his wife. I don't need to take that in every day. I don't want
Yeah.
my notifications to be filled in with people crucifying another man because of rap lyrics. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's not unless it's really good, like it's a creative song. I don't mind it. Yeah, I'll cover it, but it's not something I'm not gonna fully invest into this whole ordeal that they have going on
And
because it's
especially
negative
if you,
propaganda at the end of the day.
yeah, and especially if you are a very, if you want to protect first of all your own integrity, but because it's not really the channel, it's you. So if
Yeah, that's what
you're,
I mean. You're right
yeah,
though,
yeah,
yeah.
but it does, then in the end it protects the integrity of your content and of your channel, because first of all you're thinking about your own integrity and what your value, what values you carry into the channel and what you want to express about yourself. And so going completely against the grain with that, then I mean you just throw away the channel if you do that, because
Oh, you just entered the world of hypocrisy that you've been calling out for the past couple
exactly.
days.
And I'm just very authentic, and I think that that comes across. I think that I am an
Oh, yeah,
authentic
it definitely does.
and direct person. So I can't do that. I've been doing that so much in my life because of mold society wants you to be in, and or family or whatever belief
Mhm.
systems or what. And it's I can't anymore. It's just
Right.
I am who I
Not here, not here. Now that you've created a space that's yours, there's no
exactly.
reason to do it now. It's just like, I'm just not willing to do those things that I know do not even represent the brand. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't even represent my brand. Why would I do that? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Like, they're great artists. I understand it, but they're just talking about hate. They're just talking about how much they hate each other. I don't need that.
yeah.
That's nowhere near what my brand is about.
No,
You know
no.
what I'm saying? I love the artists. Like, I can listen to a Drake or a Kendrick. I can listen to them. Kendrick put out a new album. I did an album reaction. A lot of it was some of it was still taking shots at Drake and still the beef or whatever. So I only put out a few of them because
Yeah,
it's just not, I'm just not interested in it. You know what I mean? Like, not for who I am today. Like, like I said, I wanted my channel to be somewhat of a hub of just like, when you're looking for some positivity, man, you're trying to get through the
yeah,
day. Like, there's people in on my channel that tell me, man, they're in homes. They live in homes as far as like, you know, mental institutions, or they're in like
yeah,
these institutions where they're isolated and they're sick or whatever the case may
yeah,
be.
yeah,
And it's like, I watch I get up in the morning, I just pray you put a new video because I don't put videos every day on YouTube.
yeah, yeah,
So they're just like, this one guy was just telling me he's 77 years old, right? And he's a Ren fan. That's how he found me. And he was like, I just find the way you break down his lyrics very interesting. He said, I feel like I'm learning him better. Like, even he's like, when I heard, every time I hear a new song of his, I need to make sure I understand it properly. So I go to your channel to see if you reacted to it.
oh, that's
Is
great.
that when you do that, I understand it. To him, it just makes him a bigger Ren fan or whatever. But he just says he wakes up in the morning and he's just, if he can watch a video of mine, and I was able to he said that on YouTube. I was able to give him I had to hunt him down. I had to find him. I'm like in my comment section, like, where is that guy? I want to give him a free pass to the Patreon. That was like I was trying to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
him.
of
I couldn't
course.
remember what conversation we was having in one of my videos, and I finally found him. Right, I found him. And it was on one of my community tabs. It wasn't a YouTube video. It was all posted I made, and I found the whole conversation we had. Found him, sent him an email, and I got him on. Now he's on the Patreon. He's
Oh,
on the
cool.
Patreon right
That's
now, so
good.
I got him a free membership through Ashley. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He paid
yeah.
for it. But yeah. But anyways, it's just like people look to you to feel better about their day. That is amazing.
That is really great. Yeah, it is. It
That
is.
is all.
And I have this one podcast that you are going to be on, that's Renegade Talk, where it's mostly centered around Ren. But then I have
Mhm,
another podcast, The Unheard, that is about chronic
mhm,
illnesses and raising awareness about chronic illnesses and mental health. So what I do is that I find people who want to talk about their story with chronic illness or mental health issues, and they're mostly renegades that I have on anyway, because
mhm.
I have this whole pot of people that I talk to, that I can just go, is anyone interested? And I had like
Right.
I had this idea, and I was like, if anyone wants to do this and disclose things about their life and their ailments, then you can come to me. And I had like 35 emails in an hour of people going like, I really want to share my story. And I was like, okay. So
Beautiful.
I did this, so I have this one running where I interview people and where they share their story, but I also interview doctors, or I find people in research too, to have all of the different sides of the story. But so I have this, and then this one we're doing right now, the Renegade Talk. But I think it's really great if you just have one person, as we said, that you're talking to, and that one person is going to feel better, or is really happy to have this conversation, and that they feel lighter, or they feel joy after. And I think that's, even if only that happens, that's really great.
That's
I think, in my head, I'm like, every time, I say bye, I'm like, if that person stands up and is like, that was a nice conversation with Lisa, then, that makes my day. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
this was cool to just meet. And then if our conversation can, bring joy and understanding and happiness to other people, then that's really, really cool. So I'm really,
And I'm sure it will.
oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure it will.
yeah.
I'm sure it will because I think we had a really good conversation today. I'm not gonna say it was better than I expected. I think this is exactly what I expected. I expect because just from watching some of your stuff, I knew it was going to be a good conversation. To be honest with you, and that's
Oh,
just to say that I had a lot of confidence in the conversation. I knew
okay.
how professional you were. I knew how respectful you were, and I knew how patient you was when talking to some of the people that I saw clips of. And yeah, I just thought, okay, that's actually going to be a really good conversation.
If we can wrap this up, like, what would be something, some message you want to bring over to the renegades, or maybe to Ren if he sees this, or any message of positivity or resilience you want to bring over.
I would say specifically to Ren, right? And the Renegades, because the Renegades are who made this possible, right? Because they're the ones who introduced me to Ren. So it's about Ren, but it's because of them that I've gotten to this
Mhm.
point. Um, I would say that if he were to see this, I would say the inspiration that he gave me was so strong that I put down music at one point. Like I said earlier, I put down music, gave it up. Ren has been holding the torch. His torch has been burning for a while now, right? He's in real time. He's doing what I want to do in real time. I took my torch that's been out for a while, sat it next to his, caught that fire, and it's been burning ever since. And so all I would want him to know is that I just want to thank him for lighting my fire again because now I'm back in the studio speaking my testimony, you know what I mean? And that alone is going to impact people. And it's not possible without him. Like it's just not
Mhm.
possible. I was going further and further away from music, my personal music. I was going further and further, even through the reactions. I was like, oh, I'm just going to react. I could just listen to music now. But
Mhm.
no. So I'm back again, right? Through Christ, back again, where I got the approval to make music again
Mhm.
through Christ. And the motivation and inspiration came from Ren. You
Mhm.
know, it's him, you know what I'm saying? He lit my fire again and he just and I don't need that. I don't never have to talk to him. I don't never have to make a song with him or nothing like that. He just needs to know he's responsible. That's all. I just need him to know he did this, you know. And if I do anything that helps anybody out here in this world, you know, all the thousands of reactors, thousands of followers who follow me, the hundreds of people on my Patreon who come from him, you know, who support me, you know what I mean? Um, is that he's responsible. That's it, you know, because when I put out my music there, when I played my music on the live, everybody was like, Uncle Ray was like, I'm showing this to Ren. And you guys need to get on a song together. I was like, hold on, Uncle Ray, slow down, slow down. Slow down. I don't want I used to say, "I'm gonna start a petition to interview Ren," right? If you guys want to, because they just felt like I had a very analytical way of breaking down his music, so they wanted me to interview him. "You should
Mhm.
interview him, you should" before I did an interview. And I
Mhm.
was like, "I don't" and today I'm like, I don't need an interview. I don't need anything. I don't need an acknowledgement. I just need somebody to tell me that's on his side that he's heard it and he knows.
I'm almost sure he's going to see it, and
Yeah.
that would be great. And I think it's just that, as you said, it's the kind of thing you just want to know that he knows, and that's enough. You don't need anything
And
more.
that's it. I don't need I don't want any favors, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, he worked hard to get to where he was at.
Oh,
Nobody handed
boy.
him anything. So I
Yeah.
don't expect that to get anything handed to me either. But a
Yeah.
little inspo would go far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was very inspired. I'm inspired by you and what you do, and I think what you're doing is great. And I can see all of the people that are supporting you, and I'm really, I'm really happy every time I watch one of your videos. I think it's really good and it's well made, and you're very meaningful in
Thank you.
everything that you're saying. So that's really nice to see, and that's the type of content I like to watch too. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you're doing, and I'm really
Appreciate
thankful
it.
you took the time for me and that you decided to come do this podcast because it was really nice talking to you. So thank you for that.
You're welcome, and I appreciate you even thinking of me to reach out to, because this is it was a very pleasant conversation, and like I said, it was a credit to you. It was everything I think I expected, and I'm very satisfied with the conversation. And hopefully, we'll finish it off on potting with a goat next time for part two, and then
Oh
part
yeah,
three, part
of
four,
course,
then
no
part
problem.
five, then part six, and then part.
Yeah, I'll be there for all the parts, and I'll always have something to say. Don't worry about me.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much, Manny, and I hope to hear from you soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you.